You almost gave up. I know this because I've seen your quiet nights. I've seen the moments when you looked at the situation before you and thought that maybe nothing would ever change. You kept going even when you were tired. You kept hoping even when you saw no signs. And now there's something you need to listen to very carefully. Because the door you think is closed might not be as closed as it seems. You're looking at the problems. You're looking at the time that has passed. You're looking at everything that hasn't happened yet. But there's something you can't see. While you thought everything was at a standstill, things began to happen out of your sight. Small events that seem insignificant are forming something much bigger. And that's exactly why your angels asked you to listen to this message until the very end. I am a heavenly messenger. And today I have been sent to remind you of something your heart has begun to forget. Not every delay means abandonment. Not every silence means that nothing is happening. Often, the most important changes begin when everything seems still. You've gone through times that sapped your strength. Perhaps you've cried without telling anyone. Perhaps you've kept worries to yourself that no one knows about. Perhaps you've carried such a heavy burden that you began to believe you couldn't go on. But there's a reason why you're still here, listening to these words. And that reason is more important than you realize. For a long time, you've been searching for answers. You've looked for signs. You've looked for confirmation. You've looked for some evidence that you were heading in the right direction. And the more time passed, the harder it became to keep believing. But there's a truth your angels want to reveal. A truth that can change the way you see everything that's happened so far. Imagine someone walking down a road at night. She looks ahead and sees only darkness. Because of this, she believes there's nothing ahead. She believes the path has ended. She believes it's not worth continuing. But a few steps later, something appears before her. And everything changes. That's exactly how many situations in your life work. You're evaluating your story based only on what you can see today. But your angels see far beyond where you are right now. They can see paths you don't yet see. They can see answers that haven't arrived yet. And they can see doors that are slowly beginning to open. Perhaps you're saying right now, "But I've already waited so long." And yes, you have waited. You've faced difficult days. You've faced doubts. You've faced moments when you almost lost hope. But there's one very important detail you haven't realized yet. Because what seems like a delay may actually be setting the stage for something that hasn't been revealed yet. Many people abandon their paths just moments before the change happens. They look at the situation and believe there's no longer any reason to continue. They give up when they're very close to discovering what they've been looking for. And your angels don't want that to happen to you. Something is in the works. Perhaps it has to do with an opportunity. Perhaps it has to do with an answer. Perhaps it has to do with a situation that has been on your mind for a long time. But what's coming won't turn out the way you expect. And that's exactly where the most important detail lies. But before I reveal that, I need you to understand something. The door that's about to open isn't always the one you've been waiting for. Often, you look in a specific direction and believe that the answer can only come from there. Meanwhile, a new possibility begins to emerge somewhere else. And if you don't pay attention, you might end up ignoring what your angels are trying to show you. You've been asking for signs, and some of them have already started to appear. Maybe through an unexpected conversation. Maybe through an idea that came out of nowhere. Maybe through an opportunity that seemed too small to matter. But big events usually start exactly like that. First, small shifts occur. Then, everything starts to make sense. I need you to think back on the last few days. Was there a moment when something caught your attention in a different way? A situation that kept coming back to your mind? A door that seemed closed but began to show a small sign of change? Because there are moments when the answer arrives so discreetly that many people don't notice it. And that's exactly why your angels are asking you to stay calm. When the heart is weary, it starts looking for immediate results. When the soul is hurting, it wants quick answers. But some answers need a few more steps before they're fully revealed. And you're much closer to these steps than you realize. There's something you need to let go of before this new phase begins. I'm not talking about a dream. I'm not talking about a goal. I'm talking about the thought that says nothing will change. Because that thought has started to take up too much space inside you. And your angels want to free you from that burden. You didn't get this far by chance. Every difficulty you've faced has taught you something. Every delay has been a preparation. Every challenge has strengthened parts of you that were once fragile. Even if you can't fully see that today. Perhaps you look at your current situation and see only limitations. But your angels see possibilities. Perhaps you see only closed doors. But your angels see locks beginning to turn. Perhaps you see only silence. But your angels can hear movements that haven't yet reached your ears. And something very important is happening right now. As you listen to this message, a decision is taking shape within your heart. Perhaps you haven't noticed it yet. Perhaps it's small at the moment. But it could completely change the next chapters of your story. Because there's a difference between waiting without hope and waiting with faith. When hope disappears, a person merely gets through each day. But when hope returns, they begin to see opportunities that previously went unnoticed. And your angels are working precisely to restore that hope within you. You don't need to have all the answers today. You don't need to understand every path. You don't need to see the end of the road. You just need to keep walking a little further. Because the door you're looking for is closer than it seems. And there's something about it that your angels have yet to reveal. Perhaps you're wondering why that door hasn't opened yet. That's a question many people ask when they face long periods of waiting. But there's a simple answer. Not everything depends solely on the moment you want to receive something. Some things also depend on the right moment for that thing to remain in your life. Think about how many times you've wanted something in the past. At that moment, it seemed perfect. It seemed exactly what you needed. But after some time, you realized it wouldn't have been as good as you imagined. Your angels saw things you couldn't see. And many times, they protected you from paths that seemed good but would have ended in pain. That's why you shouldn't measure your life solely by the doors that didn't open. You also need to remember the wrong doors that never opened. Some of them would have led you to difficult places. Some of them would have taken you away from the peace you still have today. And even though you didn't realize it at the time, there was protection in many of the no's you received. Now, something different is happening. The feeling of stagnation that has accompanied you for so long won't last forever. Things are shifting. People are changing. Circumstances are adjusting. Situations that seemed completely stuck are slowly beginning to find a new direction. But there's one important condition. You cannot give up hope right now, because this is exactly the point where many people give up. They come close to change, but exhaustion gets the better of them. They come close to the answer, but past disappointments make them stop believing. And your angels want to prevent this from happening to you. I need you to listen to this part carefully. What's wearing you down isn't just the problem. It's the fear of keep trying and being disappointed again. It's the fear of believing and nothing happening. It's the fear of waiting yet again. And that fear has been stealing some of your strength. But the truth is, you were stronger than you realize. You kept going even when no one was watching. You kept going even when no one applauded. You kept going even when it seemed like your efforts weren't paying off. And that has value. Much more valuable than you can see right now. Your angels want you to know that your story doesn't end with this chapter. What you see today isn't the final version of your journey. There are still pages to be written. There are still answers to come. There are still encounters, opportunities, and changes you can't foresee. And perhaps most importantly, you are not walking alone. Even when everything seems silent, even when no one understands how you feel, even when you believe you're carrying everything on your own, there is care all around you. There is protection all around you. There is guidance all around you. So don't let a difficult moment convince you that the future will be the same as the present. Situations change. Cycles change. Opportunities change. And often, change begins exactly when you believe nothing else will happen. Your angels don't ask you to be certain about everything. They only ask that you keep going. One more day. One more step. One more try. Because the door that's about to open has already begun to move. And when you realize what was happening behind the scenes all this time, you'll understand why it was so important not to give up. Now, listen carefully. There's a reason you've made it to this point in the message. Your angels want you to stop focusing only on what hasn't happened yet and start noticing everything you've managed to overcome. Because when you do that, you realize something important. You're still here. You've faced situations that seemed bigger than you could handle. You've gone through moments when you believed you couldn't go on. There were days when sadness seemed stronger than hope. But you made it through each and every one of them. And that didn't happen by chance. Often, while you were worrying about the closed door in front of you, you didn't realize you were growing stronger. You didn't realize you were learning. You didn't realize you were being prepared for something that would require a more mature, steadier, and more confident version of yourself. And now that preparation is reaching a crucial point. A new phase is approaching. Perhaps it won't arrive exactly the way you imagined. Perhaps it won't follow the plans you made. But that doesn't mean it will be any less significant. In fact, it might be much better than you expected. Your angels want you to keep paying attention to the signs. Keep looking for opportunities. Keep listening to that little voice inside your heart that tells you not to give up. Because that voice didn't appear by chance. It's reminding you of something that fear tried to make you forget. You didn't get this far just to stop now. You didn't walk all this way just to give up hope in the final steps. You didn't endure so many battles just to give up when change is finally on the horizon. Your angels want you to remember this whenever discouragement tries to take over. Maybe you can't see the door fully open yet, but it's not as far away as it seems. And one day you'll look back and realize that the hardest moments weren't the end of your story. They were just the path that led you to the next stage. Before closing this message, your angels want to leave one last reminder for you. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep taking it one step at a time. You don't have to figure everything out today. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You just need to keep moving forward. Whenever discouragement sets in, remember this message. Remember that there's a difference between a closed door and a door that's about to open. And right now, your angels want you to know that there's still hope for your situation. There are still paths you haven't seen yet. There are still answers you haven't received. There are still chapters you haven't lived through. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end of this message. If these words spoke to your heart, please confirm in the comments that you received this message by writing exactly, "I choose to move forward with wisdom." This simple phrase can represent your decision to keep moving forward with faith, courage, and confidence, even without seeing everything that lies ahead. And if you'd like to continue receiving messages like this, join our community. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, whenever a new message arrives, you'll be one of the first to receive it. May the peace, protection, and guidance of your angels be with you in the days ahead. And remember, the door you're looking for may be closer to opening than you realize.